Today, we're going to dive into an epic story, one that's been millions of years in the making. It's a story of survival, of incredible beauty and constant change. It's the story of how birds came to be, and trust me, it's written in every single feather, every song, and every beat of their wings.
So just look at any bird. It could be a pigeon on the sidewalk, a hawk soaring way up high. Yeah, it might seem totally ordinary, right? But that creature is a living, breathing masterpiece, shaped by forces older than mountains. Every little piece of it, right down to the shape of its beak, is a chapter in this colossal tale of evolution. Okay, let's get into it.
So, to really get the story of birds, first we've got to talk about the powerful engine that makes it all happen. It's a process that has been sculpting life on this planet for billions of years, and it's called natural selection.
Okay, so it all kicks off with this simple idea of evolution. At its heart, it's just change over a lot of time. Every now and then, these random little typos, mutations, pop up in an organism's DNA. Now, most of them don't do anything, or they might even be harmful, but every once in a while, one of those mutations gives an individual a little bit of an edge.
And that is where natural selection steps onto the stage. It's the process that decides which of those random changes actually get to stick around. You can think of it like the environment itself is selecting who's best suited to survive and have babies. It's not like nature is thinking about it, It's just this incredibly powerful filter.
All right, let's make this super clear with a quick story. Picture a bunch of finches on an island. Suddenly, their main food source becomes this new plant with incredibly tough seeds. Now, the birds that just so happen to be born with slightly stronger, thicker beaks, they can crack the seeds and eat just fine. The others, well, they struggle. So the well-fed birds thrive, they're healthier, they have more chicks. After generations and generations, what do you think happens? The entire population's average beak gets stronger and thicker. That is natural selection right there.
Now imagine running that same process, but for millions of years, and across thousands of totally different environments. What do you get? You get a spectacular gallery of results. I mean, the sheer variety you see in the bird world today is all the proof you need of how powerful this evolutionary engine really is.
Okay, this is where it gets really cool. The scale of this journey is just mind-blowing. It all started way back in the Mesozoic era. Birds evolved directly from these two-legged meat-eating dinosaurs called theropods. Then you move along into the late Jurassic, and boom, the first feathered dinosaurs show up. This leads to incredible creatures like Archaeopteryx, about 150 million years ago, the perfect snapshot of a transition. It had feathers and wings like a bird, but teeth and a bony tail like a dinosaur. It was only after the big dinosaur extinction event that modern birds really took over, just exploding in diversity and filling the skies. And this shows you just how creative evolution can be when it's pushed in completely different directions. I mean, just look at penguins versus desert birds. Same distant ancestors, two totally opposite environments. Natural selection pushed penguins to give up flight to become master swimmers in the sea. Meanwhile, in the scorching desert, it pushed other birds to develop super efficient kidneys to save every last drop of water, and specialized feathers to handle the heat.
And if you want the perfect example of this kind of specialization, you gotta look at the beak. Seriously, think of it as evolution's ultimate multi-tool. It's one basic part that's been tweaked, refined, and redesigned for a million different jobs.
Just look at this lineup. It's incredible. The hummingbird has this long, delicate probe, basically a straw for nectar. The finch, it's got a built-in nutcracker. An eagle has a sharp, brutal hook for tearing meat. And the pelican's beak is literally a fishing net. Each one is a perfect tool, sculpted by evolution for a very specific menu. There's actually a name for this phenomenon, this explosion of different species from one single ancestor. It's called adaptive radiation. And the classic example, of course, is Darwin's finches in the Galapagos. A single type of finch made it to the islands, and over time, it branched out into all these different species, each with a specialized beak for a different food source on a different island.
Okay, so up to now, we've been talking about evolution like it's this hardcore survival game, right? Eat, don't get eaten, survive the elements. But that doesn't explain everything. It doesn't explain these breathtaking colors or these incredibly complicated songs. So, is that the whole story? Is something else going on?
Yep, there absolutely is. And honestly, it's a bit of a plot twist. It turns out sometimes evolution isn't about the survival of the fittest. It's about the survival of the most attractive. And this is called sexual selection. Okay, so here's the key difference. You've got to get this. Natural selection is all about the struggle for survival. Sexual selection, that's all about the struggle for attraction. And here's the crazy part. Sometimes, the very thing that helps you win a mate can actually make it harder to survive.
I mean, just think about a peacock's tail. It's ridiculous, right? It's heavy, it's cumbersome, it makes them a giant glowing target for predators. From a pure survival standpoint, it's a terrible idea. But to a female peahen, that tail is like a giant honest billboard that screams, "Hey, look at me. I am so healthy and have such good genes that I can afford to waste all this energy on this crazy tail and still be alive." The same goes for a really complex bird song. It takes a lot of energy and brain power, proving that male is in top condition.
So just let that sink in for a second. So much of the stunning beauty we see in the bird world, the dazzling colors, the beautiful music, that's not just some happy accident of nature. It's the direct result of millions of years of evolution driven by, well, the simple need to impress a partner.
You know, it's really easy to think of evolution as ancient history, something locked away in fossils from a forgotten time. But that's just not true. The story isn't over. It's being written right now, all around us, every single day. But there's been a change in leadership. For billions of years, the director of this whole show was the environment. You know, the climate, the food, the predators. Today, the single most powerful force shaping the evolution of life on this planet is us, humanity.
And this is where we hit the big problem. And this chart just lays it out so clearly. Natural change, the kind that birds have been adapting to for millions of years, it happens on a geological timescale. It's slow, it's gradual, it gives life a chance to keep up.
But the change we're causing, it's like a lightning strike. It's rapid and it's abrupt. Think of it this way. Evolution has always been like a sculptor, carefully chipping away at stone over centuries. We're not chipping away. We're showing up with a wrecking ball. The slow, patient process of natural selection just can't keep pace with that kind of radical, overnight change. It's a race against a clock that's been sped up 1,000 times.
But okay, it's not all bad news. Some birds are showing an incredible ability to adapt. We're actually seeing birds in our own cities adapting right before our eyes, learning to eat new foods, changing their songs to be heard over traffic, even nesting in our buildings. It's a powerful reminder that evolution, that relentless engine, is still running.
So really, the next time you see a bird, any bird, I want you to remember what you're actually seeing. You're not just looking at an animal. You are looking at a living witness. That one little creature carries in its DNA a multi-million-year history of surviving asteroid impacts, ice ages, and the endless struggle for both survival and attraction.
Yeah, their story is ancient, but the book is not closed. The challenges are new, the pressures are different, and the director has changed. And that leaves all of us with a really big question to think about. As the most dominant force on this planet, what's the next chapter we're going to write in their story?